Welcome to my Days of Our Lives official channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Paulina may have exposed Salem residers to high situations of radiation at the sanitarium. Marlena walked into Paulina's room and said that she was going to find herself a hazmat suit so that she could visit with her. She stopped mid-sentence, looked around, and realized Paulina wasn't there. She called John for help and told him that Paulina was supposed to be segregating, but she was gone. Marlena said that Paulina had not been taken for tests and wasn't in the restroom. She added that Paulina's sanitarium gown was there, but her things were not. Marlena lamented that Paulina could be exposing people to dangerous situations of radiation. At Sloan and Eric's apartment, Sloan entered in a triumphant mood only to find that Eric was stressed and annoyed over the couple's finances. Eric raised his voice when he said that he and Sloan were having serious fiscal issues. Sloan tried to play down Eric's frustration, and she used complicated terms about a fiscal software program in trouble to distract him. Eric said that he'd concentrate more on editorial photography. Sloan suggested that Eric seek employment at The Spectator. Eric agreed, and he left to head to the paper. Latterly, Sloan told Jude that Eric was a good man who would no way want anything to do with her if Eric learned that Jude was Nicole's son. Sloan placed Jude in his crib for a nap before placing a call to Leo, who was pouring coffee at The Spectator. Lady Whistleblower then. What can you tell me that's either funny, nasty, mind-blowing, shocking, or immaculately, all of the below? Leo said. Sloan told Leo that Eric was on his way to The Spectator, and she asked Leo to help Eric find a job at the paper. Leo noted that he'd no sway in who was hired. Sloan demanded that Leo use his charm to ensure Eric was hired. Hold up, Miss Bossy Pants. I am the one blackmailing you. Not the other way around, okay? Leo whizzed at Sloan before he looked up to find that Eric had entered in time to eavesdrop Leo's comment. Leo sat when he saw Eric, and he hung up on Sloan. Eric asked who Leo was blackmailing. Blackmail is presumably too strong a word. It's further of a tactic. You see, some of my lady whistleblower sources need to suppose that if they do not give me commodity juicy, I am going to publish a nasty old eyeless item refocused right at them. Gossip really is a dirty business, God knows, Leo said as he worked to disarm Eric's reservations. Eric said that he'd gone to the paper in hunt of Chad or Everett, in expedience of chancing a job. Leo agreed to put in a good word for Eric when Chad or Everett returned. Leo said that he authentically adored Jude, and he added that Jude was the only person in Salem who liked him. Soon latterly, as Eric prepared to leave, he and Leo shook hands. After Eric had stepped into the hallway, Leo's phone chimed. Leo told Sloan by phone that Eric had just left. Leo added that he'd give Eric a glowing recommendation. Unknown to Leo, Eric eavesdropped. Leo promised to work every angle to ensure that Eric was hired by The Spectator. At the Brady pub, John told a contact by phone that he wanted the person to find anything that might help detect Constantine's ex-wife. Where are you, Ms. Meliunis? And what, if anything, do you know? John rumored to himself after the call ended. Moments latterly, Marlena joined John at the cantina. Marlena was scarified when John said that Chanel had gone missing on Smith Island. Marlena incontinently derived that Paulina had left the sanitarium to find Chanel. We've to notify the first askers. They cannot go anywhere near her. She's radioactive, upset Marlena said of Paulina. John placed a call to notify first askers of the trouble. Marlena was upset at Paulina for having left the sanitarium. This is like the plot of a bad B movie, you know? Except that it is not funny. Paulina is exposing everybody she comes in contact with to radiation, Marlena said. John tried to play down Marlena's concern, and he said that they would have done the same thing for Sammy as Paulina had done for Chanel. Marlena agreed, and she noted that she and John had seen one another through delicate times over the times. John said that he loved Marlena with all his heart and that he considered himself the luckiest man alive to partake his love with Marlena. Marlena goggled into John's eyes, and she warmly called John her idol. And do not you forget it, John said vocally, and he leaned over the table to kiss Marlena. As John and Marlena belted coffee, the discussion turned to John's time in Greece numerous times before. John assured Marlena that he and Steve were searching for Constantine's ex-wife to conceivably shine light on Katharina's firing. Marlena suggested that John not do anything until he was prepared for what he might find. John said that he'd to face the verity about what had happened in Aria. Just also, John entered a textbook from his contact in Greece. Constantine Meliounis married Elizabeth Sideris, October 13, 1970, in Aria, Greece, John read audibly. At Marlena's stimulant, John placed a call to his contact. When John returned to his and Marlena's table, he participated that his contact had set up Constantine's divorce papers. John said that Constantine and his woman had inked their divorce papers just before she had faded. Without a trace, Marlena fooled. Hasn't been a sign of her ago, John reluctantly added. In Constantine's room at the Kyriakis manse, Constantine goggled at a snap of Katharina. Constantine pledged that he'd find a way to stay in Salem to finish what he'd started. Constantine flashed back to having used the pawn card on John. Constantine stood up to recoup the card. When Constantine picked up the book the card had been hidden in, he grew irate when he noted that the card was missing. In the living diggings of the manse, a maid named Ellie handed Maggie an envelope that had just been delivered. Maggie opened the envelope, and she goggled at wastes of papers. Moments laterally, Constantine entered the living diggings in a fit of rage. Constantine yelled at Ellie when he asked if she had stolen or thrown down what he described as a playing card that had been in his possession. Maggie was floored by Constantine's jest. And she told him not to speak to Ellie in the manner he had. Constantine faked being terribly sorry for his outburst. Maggie said that Ellie had been a pious hand for times. Constantine thanked Ellie when she agreed to ask the staff if they had seen the card. After Ellie left, Constantine tried to play down his outburst. Constantine prevaricated when he told Maggie that the card had been commodity Katharina had carried with her when Katharina had been a child. Maggie said that the card had to be in the house, and she added that it would be set up. Maggie said that she forgave Constantine for his outburst before she participated that she had unsettling news to deliver. Constantine asked Maggie to partake her news. Maggie sorrowfully said that her legal platoon had exhausted every angle in their attempt to extend Constantine's visa. Constantine said that he'd miss Maggie, who participated that she would been hopeful to find a way for him to stay in Salem. Constantine stood up, and he said that he'd pack his bags. Back in Constantine's room, Constantine yelled in wrathfulness when he set up no trace of the pawn. Constantine was frenetically continuing his hunt when Maggie entered. Maggie said that she and Constantine demanded to talk. Maggie soon participated she had figured out a way for Constantine to stay in Salem, and she added that she had an offer. Constantine Meliounis. Will you marry me? Maggie asked. At the Horton cabin, Johnny headed outdoors in the snow to continue his hunt for Chanel. Julie remained outside, and she soon heard the sound of an approaching vehicle. Julie was stunned when she looked and saw Paulina. Julie was rattled by the sight of Paulina, and she readily agreed when Paulina suggested that they head in separate directions in hunt of Chanel and Johnny. A short while laterally, Paulina returned with her arms wrapped around a shivering Chanel. Paulina attended Chanel to a lounge. Chanel showed alarm.